Good evening, this is Kuro. Got a tier 10 match in my Shimakaze on Warrior's Path. Going through this replay, looking at the threats to me. Radar wise, only two gearings. Destroyer wise, looking at a gearing and a Shimakaze. Um, this game's going to be somewhat about uh, fighting destroyers. I mix it up with the gearing a couple times and kind of show how Japanese DDs fight US DDs when you're not able just to kite them in the open. My game plan up here is I'm gonna head to BCAP. The other lesson about this game is predictive torpedoes. When I get to the launches that I take, I am going to pause it and kind of explain what's going through my head when. So you've got an idea of what I'm looking at on the mini map and what's making me launch the way I do. Um, I see a lot of people are, on the forums say that torpedoes are useless, and even today with all the hydro and radar and everything else, it's still very possible to have very high hit rates with torpedoes. Now, when I say very high, the server average is like 6 to 7% for average of all ships. A ship like Shimakaze, if you're being 6 or 7% efficient with your torpedoes, you're doing a bunch of damage with this ship just because the torpedoes hit like miniature nukes. You're gonna see it a couple times in this game. They're absolutely disgusting, and it's not battleships that I'm gonna be torping in this game. So just think about you know think about what's going on for that to happen. At this point, getting back to the game, I am stepping on B-cap. I know there's a DD in here between me and this Hindenburg, and I am starting to reverse back towards them. I'm just taking a look, seeing who's going where. This curve first, I don't think he's gonna push up. I see the gearing pop up at 5.8, and I'm detected. I'm waiting. He's not shooting. I just see that he shot, so I go on ahead, smoke up. Why I was waiting for him to shoot the smoke, I wanted to try to guarantee that he was going to be detected, and there was a solid hit, probably 1700 damage or so. I didn't actually see what it ticked for, but wanted to get that free chunk on him. And if you look at the trade, he's still ticking right now with the fire. I think he might have blew his repair early, and that last shot was an unrepairable fire, and he's just now repaired it. So right off the bat, he lost 5k damage. I didn't even lose 2. So right off the bat, that fight should have been in Gearing's favor. However, how I handled it, I out-traded him more than 2 to 1. Plus, he took additional damage from my team. You're gonna see that when he pops back up here. Now, I see a Cleveland starting to push cap, and this is when I start running some calculations in my head about the Torps. I'm taking a look right now. I'm calling target on him. Now, I'm going to pause it here. What I see, I'm going to unpause it, watch the indicator. He's kind of hesitating with his indicator. And that can be he's either playing with this throttle or he's tapping his rudder. And what I'm looking at is this guy's not shooting. I've got a bunch of ships back here that this guy's probably looking to shoot. Cleveland players, for whatever reason, have decided that they're nigh on invincible, and they've been playing extremely aggressive. All of these things I roll through my head when I'm looking at the target profile to try to understand how this ship is moving, what is his objective. I think he's pushed into this cap to try to radar me, and alternatively try to shoot my ships back down in here. So what I'm going to do, I don't know exactly where this guy's going to go. He may, his smart move would be, you know, just hug this island and just, you know, sit there, get some shots over the island. Um, but honestly, the island is a nasty position for him because I've got ships here that they can shoot back on this side of the island. My ships can shoot on this side of the island, and I can torp this side of the island. So this whole thing back here is one big crossfire. I just need somebody to radar it for that to happen. So far, that hasn't happened yet. So, getting back to my torpedoes, I've got 3 sets. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to send 1 set, 2 set, and just screen this whole area with torpedoes. This guy may try to turn out, and if he does, he's got a high probability he's going to eat torps. If, you know, he comes up here and just tries to sit right here and shoot, he might catch this torp that's coming up this way. I actually launch my 3rd set delayed from kind of this angle to try to even get my torps further in behind the island to pressure the gearing and, you know, try to deny the Cleveland movement if he tries to sit further back behind this island. So that's what's going through my head when I'm dropping these sets of torpedoes. We get vision on him. I'm turning out because I expect him to radar. And then dropping right into it pretty much as an extreme angle as I can. And at this point, with my torpedoes out, my smoke's on cooldown, there's nothing I can really do right here. Now this Cleveland, watching the indicator, he's probably seen my torps now. He started his turn up. He wanted to get out of the cap, realized it was a bad spot, and then saw my torps, tried to turn back in. By that point, too late. Only took 2 torps to wipe him out. Like I said, their Shimakaze torps are like a miniature tactical nuke. Ships just disappear when they get hit. On the mini-map, I see the gearings bailing on B-cap. With his Cleveland gone, he probably realizes with this clump of enemy, with my friendly ships here, that he can't hold out forever. So I'm gonna push in. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. I want that cap. I want to stop the point stick. They've got C cap for free, and they're gonna have it for a while. So me getting my butt on cap neutralizes their point game. And the gearing bumps into my friendly Shimakaze. And I was kind of hoping for a longer engagement, but the gearing never really shoots. But I get a chunk of damage on him, just a little chip. I smoked up just because the Montana was right there, and I want to make sure that I get the cap. My HP at this point is more important than this smoke. Now pushing up here, that gearing, almost positive, has bailed. He's, just by how he's been reacting, coming into the cap, not really trying to do any damage while he was in the cap and then running away. He's a DD who's playing scared right now. That's what his target profile's telling me. Now, I see the gearing pop back up, and my friendly Shimakaze's in a fight, and I'm gonna help him out. You know, yes, I'm throwing those torpedoes away on that Montana, but getting damage on their gearing is more important. If we can get their DDs worked down, they're not able to contest caps, and you know they're gonna start falling apart. Gearing starts smoking up, his engine's out. I'm just doing some calculations. That last shot, for some reason, the crosshairs locked onto the ship behind him, and that's why the shots missed. And there goes the gearing. And that's how you deal with gunboat DDs. You've got good HE. You've got guns that can hit reasonably well at 9-10 kilometers. Use them. If he pops up a U.S. destroyer at those ranges, he can't really hit you with any sort of consistency. So, just let him fly. It'll be all right. Gearing torps coming in.
Battery low.
I cut this a little shorter than, a little closer than I should have, but just trying to get some damage on this rune. It's just one of those things. Yes, I've got torpedoes, but it's easy support for my team. It's not costing me anything, and just trying to keep this guy harassed. The quicker he's dead, the better for the team. At this point, he's getting close enough that I'm going to have a hard time shooting over this island. Okay, rune's gone. Unfortunately, we lose a Kronstadt. And I'm looking at the mini-map, and I'm still seeing most of the enemy at A cap is a threat to, more of a threat than the enemy at C cap. These guys are actively pushing. They're getting reinforcements here. This is the only other radar cruiser in the game at the moment. And these guys on C, they're camping. They can shoot at a couple ships, but at this point, they're kind of out of the fight. So I'm gonna push in here. This Shimakaze, Ryan, I can't say his last name. He has a really good game, and you can start to see why. He's been on ACAP this whole time, and he's just been wrecking people. I suspect that he's got a flood on the Kurfürst already, and I see that he's detected launching torps. I see the Shima turn out, so I go on ahead, drop my torps, because maybe that Kurfürst turns in to dodge his torps, and will hit mine. Who knows? My intended target is this Montana up here, and it gets kind of blown apart by this Cleveland here. I initially, when I played this, I thought that the Cleveland had radared the Shimakaze, and all of a sudden his radar just pops up and blows my stock here. So I am trying to avoid the damage from the Cleveland, and I'm coming up here, and I'm just going to slam on the brakes. I expect his radar to drop off here very shortly. And there it goes. Looks like his last volley, he's, I don't know what he did with it. He shot somebody down here. I don't understand why. But I know this Montana, he now knows that both Shimas are here, so he's gonna be playing safe around this island. I launched my first Torps kind of impatient. Should have waited. My other Shima, he gets the torpedo hit, and this Montana just stops. He's able to avoid my torpedoes. I've got another set of Torps up in 9 seconds. My other Shimakaze buddy, he's already got shots out. I see the Montana accelerating. I drop my Torps, and then I make the mistake right there. If you guys saw that, I was in torpedo mode, and I switched. I launched my Torps, and then I switched back to guns. And I'm just gonna rewind it. Watch this guy's turn. Okay, torpedo mode. I drop. I lock. Immediately, he's already in his turn. He's already had his rudder shifted over for a couple seconds at that point to get that turn. He's running priority target. I also find out he's right here that he's also running target acquisition. I don't know why you'd run target acquisition on a Montana, but this guy is. At this point, I was trying to be cheeky, take a shot, and get detected by the Ibuki, and things just start falling apart right here for a minute, and I don't want to repair, but I'm gonna have to, because I am actually, I've realized that he's got target acquisition rather than concealment expert. Unfortunately, the Cleveland gets a fire on me, and I'm just gonna run up here behind this island. I'm gonna let the fire go ahead, burn its way out. The Atlanta can't detect me, or the Ibuki can't detect me. So right here, I'm safe. Yes, the fire's ticking. Yes, I'm taking damage. But I lived. That's the main thing. So that little screw up there cost me a lot of HP, and that's how that priority target can be used against you. That's why, you know, it's very rare for me to actually lock my guns back on target. At this point, I see the Cleveland. This guy's his accuracy hasn't really impressed me, and at these distances, a Shimakaze can pretty much dance around a Cleveland. So, just trying to be a little cheeky, get the kill, but not gonna happen. Now I see this Ibuki coming up, and I'm already starting to run kind of my target profile on this guy. Basically what I expect him to do, he's going to push around this island, he's going to get detected, and I believe that he's going to eventually duck in this channel and try to cap B, or try to go back to A cap. So as I'm coming up here, I want to spot him, and he pops up, and I'm just watching right here. I've got plenty of torpedoes to throw at this guy, so I want to make sure that this is done right. As soon as I see his rudder shift over, I just drop my Torps. I drop them just right off the island, as far over as I can. Ibuki is a ship that it can move, and he actually zigzags back and forth a bit. I think that these Torps might miss, so I'm gonna launch a second set back in here, just in case those miss. But then when I zoom in, I realize this guy's in trouble. He's gonna take two, and bam. I mean, that hurts. So at this point, I'm watching to see what he's doing. He flooded a little bit. He's starting to heal. As he goes behind that island, I go on ahead and take a shot. If I'm lucky, I get a fire there. If I get a fire there, he's dead. So at this point, I'm just gonna circle back around. I'm just gonna keep this guy spotted, keep harassing him. There's nothing he can really do to me at this point. I'm much faster than he is. He's not gonna be headed towards my cap, and you know, that's pretty much game. And then my Shimakaze, he gets Torps from the stern and manages to take the kill just as the game is winding down. So the end battle results: 101,000 damage, 4 torpedo hits, 4 base defenses, a decent amount of XP, mainly because everything's been was mostly on cruisers and destroyers. I'm just going through real quick, taking a look, seeing kind of what happened. I knew my team was low HP, but we actually had two dreadnoughts on our team, so that's some really good tanking. So I'm going through right now, kind of taking a look, seeing how I did with my guns. Um, those 2 torpedo hits, whew, that's rough. Uh, Over the course of the engagement, did 10,300 to that gearing, and the gearing, he never really even had a chance to shoot at me that much. He got 3 hits for 420. That probably tells me one of the hits probably took out an AA gun or something like that. And I mean, that's that's not supposed to happen with a Gearing versus Shimakaze battle, but that's how it played out. But that is my Shimakaze game. I wanted to talk about the predictive torpedoes and just kind of the hit and run play style when you're fighting gunboat destroyers, and how you can work those situations to your advantage. Hope you guys learned something, and I will talk to you on the next one.